Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the latest webinar by 42Gears. Today, we are here to talk about Unified Endpoint Management. We'll be discussing how 42Gears UEM has incorporated advanced technologies and has expanded to new territories of mobility to bring the digital workspace to life. 42Gears UEM is a truly innovative solution that caters to the full security and management lifecycle for your business mobility. To deep dive into 42Gears UEM, I have with me today Stephen and Dario, our product experts, who will help you get an in-depth look at the new and tested capabilities of our solution. Before we get started, I would like to request you to drop any questions you may have during the presentation in the question box panel that is present on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll answer them at the end of the session. So now I'll let Stephen and Dario take it forward.
Thanks, Shalini. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Stephen, and I'm one of the digital consultants at 42Gears based in UK Manchester office.
Hello, everybody. It's great to have you all here today. I'm Dario, and I work as a senior digital consultant at 42Gears office here in California.
So today, we're here to take you through 42Gears UEM and its most important features that has helped our solution stand out. But before we get into that, we would first like to talk about what Unified Endpoint Solution means to businesses today and why it is important as per Gartner. UEM refers to a new class of tool that can act as a single management interface for mobiles, PCs, and other devices. Gartner, in fact, encourages I&O leaders to plan for replacements of enterprise mobility management and client management tools with UEM in the next few years in order to support modern OSs.
Yes, I agree. A UEM solution combines the management of multiple endpoint types in a single console. It can not only configure, manage, and monitor iOS, macOS, Android, Windows 10, but also manage Internet of Things and wearable endpoints. Also, a UEM solution will help to unify the application of configurations, management profiles, device compliance, and data protection. It will provide a single view of multi-device users, enhancing efficiency of end-user support and gathering detailed workplace analytics.
Thanks, Dario. So when we look at UEM, I think the definition for UEM has evolved quite dramatically over the last few years, and I think it will continue to do so over the next few years. This is because I think more and more organizations will slowly embrace UEM management. However, if we try to understand how UEM happened, we have to look back at a time where desktops and laptops were the only endpoints enterprises had to deal with. Traditional client management tools, also known as CMT, were used to automate system administration and support functions. But when the mobile device revolution happened, solutions to manage mobile devices such as MDM, also known as mobile device management, these were developed. But these solutions were different and disconnected from traditional CMT tools.
Yeah, exactly. And when a variety of devices started entering the workplace, IT personnel started facing a hard time managing different device types and operating systems. So at this point, the need arose for a unified solution that could manage all endpoints seamlessly. UEM solution further got a big boost with the introduction of Windows 10 and iOS 11, allowing IT the ability to manage both old and new mobile devices, laptops, desktops over the air. Convergence of technology enabled support of common platforms such as iOS 11 for iPhones and iPads, Mac High Sierra for iMacs and MacBooks, and Windows 10 for rugged and mobile devices. Enterprise mobility vendors started promoting a unified approach for managing all types of endpoints, apps, and content used in a business ecosystem.
So before we move on, I'd like to quickly point out that Gartner has categorized UEM vendors into two categories. Those who have heavily invested into mobile and modern management with very little CMT, client management tool functionality, and those that have integrated existing CMT or explicitly built CMT features into their UEM.
Now, I believe that's because modern operating systems such as Chrome and Windows 10 favor UEM-only management. Currently, majority of organizations are still yet to adopt UEM as a primary management tool for all endpoints, which means features that bridge the gap between CMT and UEM solutions will be considered as strong differentiators. And as time passes and fewer devices will require these features, it will affect the way UEM evolves.
So now that we understand how and why the UEM phenomenon happened, let's get into what 42Gears has to offer in its solution. In simple words, 42Gears UEM solution empowers IT to take a consistent and holistic approach towards endpoint management using a single pane of glass. It takes away ineffective multi-platform dependencies to provide security and control over all business endpoints, both new and old. What this means is that 42Gears can help businesses remove endpoint complexity by offering fully integrated support for multi-device architecture, each with unique security settings, services, and configurations. It helps to improve user productivity by ensuring that employees get to focus on the tasks they have to perform rather than how to access them. 42Gears UEM also ensures improved IT security by setting a common set of processes that will establish continuous security compliance across all supported devices and their platforms.
And I would like to add that 42Gears UEM supports all operating system types, including Android, iOS, macOS, Windows, Linux, and Chrome. So our solution also makes it easier for enterprises to seamlessly migrate from legacy platforms, such as Windows 7, to better EMM compliant versions, such as Windows 10. It offers a single platform to manage all endpoints, regardless of type, user, or use case. And most importantly, 42Gears UEM caters to all endpoints of a digital workspace, such as BYOD devices, IoT devices, including wearables, sensors, and gateways, desktops, laptops, ruggedized devices, kiosks, and even printers. 42Gears UEM allows IT to adopt rapid, automated, and on-demand capabilities, such as a virtual assistant for EMM. It eliminates the problem of disjointed user experience by ensuring that business processes and apps appear and function the same, irrespective on which endpoint the end user accesses them.
So now that we have given you an overall view of 42Gears solution, we would like to take this opportunity to discuss about certain specific 42Gears UEM features. As many of you might know, 42Gears, we are incredibly proud to have been featured in Gartner's Magic Quadrant for UEM Tools 2018 in their report. Gartner placed 42Gears in the visionary quadrant and highlighted some of our standalone features that puts us in the visionary league.
Yes, exactly. Technological innovation is what sets 42Gears UEM apart. It is at the core of our strategy, our values, and our approach. 42Gears UEM is the one-stop solution that helps manage large-scale device deployments across multiple operating systems, all from a single console. From legacy to modern technology such as wearables and IoT, we cater to an ever-changing digital landscape, be it artificial intelligence or EMM analytics.
Let's quickly take a look at some of these features. The first one I'd like to talk about is the virtual assistant chatbot for UEM. 42Gears conceptualized an integration of artificial intelligence into UEM technology by launching its very own Deep Thought. This is a virtual assistant chatbot for 42Gears UEM platform. SureMDM is the only UEM solution that offers an all-powered virtual assistant to manage devices using natural language, understanding, and machine learning. It aims to simplify the processes of UEM interaction in order to help IT admins navigate through the maze of enhanced technical functionalities and complex data with a hands-free device management. You can get the exact information you want by typing or voicing your requirement. Also, admins would need considerably less training to learn intrinsic use of UEM. I would also like to add that 42Gears has extended its Deep Thought chatbot engine to perform the functions of a self-service portal for its end users. It allows end users to perform actions on their enrolled devices such as locate, reboot, and wipe functions. These functions would otherwise have to be performed by the admin by logging into the 42Gears UEM console. Let me give you a quick demonstration of how our virtual assistant works on our UEM console. So this is our 42Gears console. I'll give you a brief overview before showing you the chatbot. On the left-hand side, we have grouping. So when a device is enrolled into your client's business, they can categorize where they would like it to be located. For instance, if they have an office based in the north, south, east, or west, you can put the enrolled devices into those folders. In the center console, you can see our online devices. It will give you a brief overview of the device name, the model, an emoji for their operating systems, its status if it's online or offline, the battery percentage, what OS version it's running, and if it's rooted or not. On the right-hand side, we have the overall device information. Once again, the device model, the operating system, the device name, which can be changed, the Bluetooth name, when the device is last online, if the location tracking is on, and if there's any particular geo time or network fence. It also provides the network, such as the MAC addresses, the IP addresses, the Wi-Fi signal if off Wi-Fi, or the mobile signal strength, including battery and memory, and also the mobile network. At the top right, we have quick actions. If you were to press more on this device, as you can see, we can see full logs, SMS logs, we can reboot the device, reset, lock, manage, even remotely wipe the device, data usage, and other performances such as remote buzz. We then come to the top of the dashboard, where we'll be able to navigate through our SureMDM, such as home, the dashboard, our inbox, which allows two-way communication between the MDM console and the device, the jobs, which shows our operating systems, the profiles, App Store, File Store, reports, and then Deep Thought, our virtual assistant chatbot. So Deep Thought will allow you to communicate with it in 3 separate ways. You can voice your command, type your command, or we have generated predefined most common questions, such as if I was to restart the chatbot now, it will give me the option to ask Deep Thought which devices are online, offline, before moving on to the next set of tasks. I'll be able to perform this action once the connectivity comes back. So as mentioned, I'll click on to show me all online devices. As you can see, Deep Thought has gone through its own console and found devices which are currently online, the model, and its status. At the bottom, once again, you can send messages. Deep Thought will ask you what message you would like to send. You could easily type in meeting today, send it, and Deep Thought will tell you once this job has been applied. If you then check the devices, you'll be able to see that the message has been pushed through. You can also perform other actions, such as locate through Deep Thought. So I'll locate my work phone now. As you can see, Deep Thought has brought up the exact location of where I'm based, central Manchester, the date, the time of the location requested, the latitude and the longitude. The next feature that I'd like to explain in 42Gears UEM is our analytics engine. It enables data capture, storage and analytics for our customers to deliver insight for smart businesses. The analytic rule engine can help companies make informed decisions regarding their IT assessed management strategies and automated anomaly detection. It uses big data technology and can perform mobile device app usage and IoT data analytics. The analytics framework not only captures and stores data from 42Gears UEM apps such as SureLock, SureFox and Enterprise App Stores, but it also allows third-party apps to register their time series data within the 42Gears UEM. It can help businesses measure the effectiveness of their device and application deployment. I'll now give you a quick demonstration of where this is located. So to find 42Gears UEM analytics engine, we'd have to go onto settings, scroll down to our account settings, we will then have a list of actions on the left hand side. So we'll scroll down to data analytics, enable our data analytics. For the purpose of this demonstration, I would like to find out about our SureLock analytics. I would then apply. The UEM will then request if I would like SureLock analytics for all devices, which I do, so I'd press yes. Once requested, I would then go to our reporting section. Go onto our on-demand report and scroll down to application usage analytics. From here, we can decide which group we would like to select our analytics to be generated from. So for today, I'm going to pick the home group, and I can also request which days I would like the analytics to come from. So I would like to request from the start of this week, from the 8th to our current date today, which is the 11th. I will then apply this custom report and request the report to be generated. Once applied this action, it takes a couple of seconds for the report to be generated, and you can then find the report in the View Report section. As you can see, it has a yellow triangle at the moment as it is still being generated. But once this report is requested and delivered, it will give you the request date and time, the on-demand, and it will also give you the option to download or view this report in PDF. The third feature that Gartner spoke about is 42Gears support for Linux-based Raspberry Pi. Support for Linux-based IoT gateways such as Mozilla Web of Things gateway was a huge breakthrough for us in supporting enterprise IoT deployments. 42Gears UEM started supporting Linux devices back in August 2017, and it has been since been enabling IT pros to manage Linux-based devices remotely. And it is now able to support remote management of IoT endpoints through Linux-based gateways as well. This means that businesses can manage IoT deployments. This includes sensors and small handheld devices connected to gateways such as Mozilla Web of Things and Raspberry Pi. Once again, IoT Gateway is set up on Linux-based devices, and SureMDM Nix agent has been installed and configured. Admins will be able to use SureMDM Web Console to remotely manage connected IoT devices and sensors using custom run scripts. So if we were to look at our control panel, we can see that an IoT device has been installed and is currently online. We know it's a Linux device due to the model and the emoji. It will give us the OS version number, and will also break down other key features such as the operating system, the agent version, when the device was last online, if we have any notes, and deployment status, as well as the network such as MAC address, the IP address, the connection, and if it's off signal or Wi-Fi, as well as the memory. This IoT Linux-based device will be able to perform functions such as, for example, around the office and home, you'll be able to control your lighting system with these devices. So with that said, I'd now like to pass the webinar over to Dario, who will be able to explain a couple more key features of our SureMDM.
Thanks, Stephen. So there are a few more important features that I would like to point out. The first one is iOS screen sharing. 42Gears UEM is the first solution that offered native iOS screen sharing support for iPhones and iPads. It makes use of iOS 11's ability to record and broadcast screen in real time to remotely troubleshoot issues and provide training to users. So using this feature, enterprises can access and share the screens of enrolled iPhones and iPads in real time directly from the 42Gears UEM console, regardless of device location. But most importantly, IT admins can access the iOS 11 device screens without the use of a third-party screen sharing solution. It works over all types of connectivity, from Wi-Fi to cellular. And iOS screen sharing will help enterprises adopt a consistent approach, providing tech support to enrolled iOS devices and ensuring a better user experience. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you my iOS device here and what this would look like on our console. So first of all, I have an iPhone 6 here, regular iPhone 6. It is enrolled in our SureMDM console, as we can see by the Nix agent over here. And as we go switch over to our console, I'm going to click on our iPhone over here. And in order to begin the remote session with the iPhone, all we have to do is click on remote. As we click on remote, we'll see some directions here. Essentially, for iOS devices, I would have to swipe from the bottom, long hold, press on start broadcast. As the countdown begins, the broadcast will begin. Going back over here, we can see that as our screen loads, just give it a second, we'll be able to completely see the screen of the iOS device. So as I'm basically toggling between each action on the device, the same thing is replicating on our screen here. We can even make the resolution higher so we can see a little bit better. So for example, if I go into settings, let's say go into Wi-Fi, we can see the exact same thing take place on our iOS device. So that's just a little bit about our iOS screen sharing feature. Now I would like to move on and talk more about our full support for Android Enterprise. So 42Gears offers a best-of-breed Android Enterprise support capabilities. And some of the most important features that we added were silent app installation, Wi-Fi configuration, password policy, and email configuration. Remote silent installation allows you to install mobile applications or update software remotely without any manual intervention from the end user and without any interference on the device. Applications can be pushed to devices using the SureMDM App Store, Play for Work, or configured system apps. Mail configuration can be done using the native email client or using the 42Gears in-house email client called Astromail. 42Gears UEM system settings also allows admins to configure Android settings at a pretty much a granular level, such as USB debugging, disabling safe mode, and also the system's update policy. 42Gears UEM can also remotely wipe corporate data as per company-specific privacy policies without touching the personal content on the employee's mobile device. Now, over here, I have one device that has been enrolled in Android Enterprise, specifically COSU, so corporate-owned single use. But of course, we can also enroll as a BYOD type device, meaning bring your own device. So if organizations are looking to place work-related apps on employees' own phones in a special container, that's also possible. So as we can see on this COSU enrolled device, we have a number of applications installed. And I would like to show you, first of all, how easy it is to remotely install applications on this device using SureMDM. So if we toggle over to the console, we can select our device here. And as I mentioned, one of the things that we can also see, we have this tab called Android Enterprise. We see the device is enrolled in Android for Enterprise, and specifically device owner, which in this case is COSU type enrollment. So going over to profiles, I'm simply going to go ahead and edit the profile I created earlier. I'm going to click on modify. Now we'll come back to some of these other settings, but first to show you the application policy. Here we can configure what applications we would like to install on the device by clicking on the plus add button. And now we can select either from the SureMDM App Store, Play for Work, or configuring specific system apps. In this case, my application, which I'm going to show you, is installing Slack. We have it uploaded in our SureMDM App Store, so I'm going to select SureMDM App Store as our source. I'm going to go ahead and click on Slack. And also very important is to select Install Silently. So we're going to create a check mark there. Click on Add. I'm going to save this profile. And now going back to the home screen, we have our Samsung device here selected. I'm going to go ahead and click on Apply. And now when we click on Apply, we can pretty much choose from any of the previously created jobs or profiles. And we can also specify when this event should take place. Should a job get pushed immediately? Should this be a periodic action, such as perhaps rebooting a device every 48 hours? Or we can select a date and time in the future for this update to happen, particularly maybe when the device won't be used in the off hours. But in this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click on immediately, click on OK. Select our profile, the Slack profile we have just edited, and we're going to go ahead and click on Apply. Now, as this installation begins on the device, I'm going to just go ahead and toggle back to our device screen. But one thing which you'll see in the SureMDM console is, first of all, there will be a triangle here, and then we'll have a check mark which says a job has been successfully deployed. So an orange triangle would essentially mean that this job is in progress, and the check mark means it has successfully been installed. Now, depending on how large the application that you're trying to install is, will decide on how long it takes, of course, for the application to get installed. So we're going to go ahead and wait a little bit. The package has been pushed, and now it's just being installed in this device. Now, of course, what you can do is you can string together multiple applications in a single profile for the application policy. It does not have to be a one-off, such as in this case, but simply for demonstration purposes, we'll just go ahead and show you how this works. So Slack has installed. It took no user intervention on my side. We can go ahead and even select Slack here. And we can see that Slack has been successfully installed on our device. So this can be replicated on a number of devices simply by going ahead and selecting perhaps a whole group, let's say our home folder. We can select the check mark, applying a job to a group, and we can install the Slack profile to all of my devices. Now going back to our Android profiles, I'm going to go ahead and once again modify the existing profile that we have here and walk through a couple of other things I've mentioned prior. So system settings As we can see, there's quite a lot of options here that we can configure. One important thing to mention is certain features, such as disabling a cross-profile copy-paste. This is only available on a BYOD type enrolled device. So in this case, this checkmark will not actually get applied since we are enrolled in a COSU type enrollment. So if there's no tags, a specific feature will be usable for both BYOD and COSU. And if there's a tag, then only for the respective one. So as mentioned earlier, we can do things such as disabling factory reset, disabling safe mode. We can go ahead and disable quite a lot or enable quite a lot of different features through the system settings. Also very important, when it comes to the systems update policy, we can decide if we simply really don't mind when an update happens, or we can simply postpone an update from happening until we allow it. Application policy, we went over slightly. Through network settings, we can configure our network, perhaps a VPN if required. Through certificates, we can go ahead and add any certificates if required by our organization. We can configure our mail either by the Gmail app or our native Astromail. Of course, we can configure Wi-Fi on these devices as well as a password policy. And lastly, we can go ahead and similarly how we've created the application policy, we can configure a file sharing policy, which would be from our file store. And essentially, we can share any MP4 or PDF files amongst all of our devices. And lastly, I would like to talk about our wearable management solution. So the 42Gears UEM offers support for Android wearables. This support was released in May of 2017, and it enables enterprises to lock down and also to remotely manage the devices to get them enterprise ready. Recently, 42Gears expanded its offering to include support for application management for Android-based wearables, allowing enterprises to manage Android Wear OS apps from the 42Gears UEM console. So let me go ahead and show you that as well. So right here, I have a Huawei wearable watch. And as we can see, there's quite a lot of standard applications available on this watch. Let me try to focus my camera a little better. We have the SureMDM Nix agent, so it is enrolled in our console. And we can have quite a lot of different applications that the end user has access to. Now, one of the options that we have here in SureMDM, and I'll show you that right away, is sending messages to a device here. So let me just go ahead and show you exactly how that would work on an iOS device. This pretty much works similarly on all other device types. So let's refresh this device. This will bring up the most recent information of this device. As you can see, the device is online. We can go ahead and select message from the quick drop-down panel. And here, the IT admin can write a type of message that we're looking to send to the device. For example, hello world. And now we can send this message to our device. And as we can see, the device has received this message in our inbox. And if we would like, we can send the message back. We can reply to this message and essentially type up a message. Let's say, hi, send the message. And if we go back to our MDM console, we can see that this message will have been received from device 169, which is our device here, and we can see the exact message that was sent. So one other option here that we've already configured on our device is our kiosk solution called Sherlock. So what Sherlock is going to do, it's essentially going to transform this consumer device to a dedicated purpose device. So we know a lot of our customers that are using wearables are using them in manufacturing plants. And a lot of these applications do not need to be accessed on a daily basis, such as contacts, things like that. So all we would have to do is we launch Sherlock, which is our kiosk lockdown application, which essentially transforms this device to a dedicated purpose device. So in this particular situation, I've simply allowed two applications, Alarm and a Wi-Fi Center, which is a mini app, which we have within Sherlock. And the end user can only use these two applications, nothing else. Going back to our SureMDM console, of course, we can configure the Sherlock settings remotely and change which applications the end user should have access to. Some other options, if we go to Jobs, here we can select New Job. We can decide which operating system we're working with, in this case, Android Wear. And we have a number of options that we can use to manage our wearables better. Similarly, we can transfer files, just like on an Android Enterprise supported device. We can send a text message. Through run scripts, we can install apps remotely. That's exactly how we installed Sherlock on this device. And we can configure Wi-Fi, telecom management, so on and so forth. One also feature that might be pretty cool would be our locate feature. So as we turn on the location tracking feature on our wearable and we select locate, this will bring up the real-time location of our device, which in this case is in our 42Gears California office. So as this location tracking loads, we're going to be able to see the real location of our wearable. Let me just go ahead and launch it again, refresh the device. Locate. And it seems that currently the location tracking still needs to be enabled on this device. But essentially, this would look exactly how it did on Steven's device using the chat box. So with that, that's all I wanted to discuss as far as some other features in the SureMDM console. Steven, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Dario. Thank you for highlighting and demonstrating those important features. And with that, we have come to the end of our webinar. So it's time to move on to the question and answer session. If you have any queries related to any of the features or any part of the demo, I request you to add them to the question box now. We have received a few questions throughout the demonstration, so I'll quickly go through them. So the first question that was asked, it looks like it has been aimed towards the Android Enterprise Agent. So Dario, we've been asked, with Android Enterprise Agent, can a password be for the work containers on the devices?
Yeah, sure. Let me go ahead and show you exactly how this would look like in our Android profile. And yes, what we can do is we can create a specific password policy either for the device itself and for the container in a BYOD scenario. So under the password policy, profile type, we can select either a device security password, which would just mean a regular password on the device. So enforcing it to be, let's say, just a 4-character password. We can also enforce a work security password, which can be much more complex, let's say an 8-character password. And this would relate to all of the applications in our work container, which the IT admin has allowed and given access to in a BYOD scenario. Or lastly, we can specify we want a specific type of password policy on the device itself and another type for the work container.
The next question being asked is, do we support screen sharing on iPads as well?
Yes, that's a good question. So we do support screen sharing both for iPhones and iPads. Pretty much works the exact same way, whether it's an iPad or an iPhone. And I see there's one more question here, Stephen. This is more related to what you were going over. The question is, you showed how to get analytics report for Sherlock. What about for other applications?
It's a good question. So with our analytics engine, we are able to generate internal reports for the Sherlock, Sure Video, and other applications that we have built. However, we are also able to run analytic reports for third-party applications that could be multimedia or even social media applications as well. And so with that, we have actually come to the end of our webinar. I can see that we still have a few more questions that have been asked. However, we have run out of time and we will email the replies to the questions as soon as possible.
And if you have any more questions, please feel free to drop in a mail at webinars@42gears.com or visit us at our website, 42gears.com. So with that, thank you for joining us, everybody, and we will see you next time.